not your first rodeo of playing in a football movie, a human being that actually exists.
True.
Did you get to hang out with Dick Vermeil before making Invincible?
I did. I was with him in his last training camp. Actually, they were in Wisconsin training for Kansas City in 2005 was his last year there.
Yeah.
And, went up there. Tony Gonzalez was there, who funny enough, I had met when I made this movie called The Matador down in Mexico City with Pierce Brosnan. I met Tony down in Mexico one time.
Was he in the movie or just?
No, he
just
wasn't in the movie. He was in, I literally met him out at some club one time with Pierce and I were out, and he's a super cool guy. And but he was the only one, I didn't really know anybody there. So it was intimidating to go in there. I mean, it's Vermeil, and I hung out with the guys, watched tape with them for a couple of days. It was really cool. Of course, the horror eventually came full circle when Dick goes out one day to kind of give the guys the end of the day kind of wrap up, and he says a few words, and he says, "Listen, guys, we're going to take this to the ends, the thing, just like an unbelievable sort of movie locker room speech that, it's just coming off the cuff, right?
Sure.
This is what he does.
It's not his first rodeo.
It's emotional. It's great. And then he says, and by the way, Greg Kinnear is going to play me in a upcoming movie. Greg, why don't you say a few words to the boys?
Come on. No, he didn't. Come on.
You guys play hard? I was just like frozen in time. Yeah, no. He had me say a few words, and I don't remember what came out. Some sort of half-witted sort of speech to say, "Go get him, fellas." But it was a great guy to play, and as a character, obviously if you study Dick, that emotional side of him.
Oh, please.
A lot of people are cynical about that. A lot of people are like, oh, come on, where's this come from? I'm telling you, my dad is very emotional. My father like that, and I saw that in Dick and felt like, that's just a real thing, man.
Well,
it's in his heart.
He is. I mean, he's as genuine as they come. I just saw him this weekend. He was at the Hall of Fame for Tony.
And I saw. Actually, I happened to watch Tony's speech, and I thought it was a great speech, by the way, and a nice shout out to Dick and to kind of everybody.
Well, I've known him, Dick Vermeil, forever, and we've seen the emotional side of him in many different ways, not just on the football field. He was part of the NFL Network's Combine coverage for a few years in Indianapolis. And the Combine, for whatever reason, every year coincides with the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
And then when Scorsese won for The Departed, it was the first time he won the award for The Departed. Vermeil, we look over at him watching, he started crying.
Yeah.
For Martin Scorsese. And we're like, do you know him? And he goes, no, it just kind of got me right. He started tearing up. And all of us, the NFL Network was like, that's A, so cool. And then B, like, that is so cool. We just watched Vermeil tear up for real.
I'd like to think he's a little choked up right now.
He might be
at home, watching in the living room, a nice cup of coffee.
Or wine. It's his red wine, right? He's sitting there. And our fantasy team name last year that we won our fantasy football was Touch of the Vermeil. Because whenever we get choked up, we call it having a touch of the Vermeil.
Right.
On the Rich Eisen show.
Right.
So you nailed it. That was fun. That was a fun movie for you to be a part of.
It was.
Invincible.
We were also shot the end in, we went to Dallas at Dallas Stadium before they blew it up.
Oh, the old Texas Stadium.
That was certainly the last movie to shoot at Texas Stadium. I mean, literally the thing came down a couple weeks later.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it was, and I was on the other side, and of course I don't know who the actor was, that they had some guy, Landry comes in with the Dallas Cowboys. It's that big game at the end, and I'm looking over across the field. We got the cameras rolling. But the sense that you had in there was, I couldn't pay for that. It was great. That's
right. Yeah. I remember being in that stadium a couple times too.
Yeah.
It's like
and Wahlberg took a few hits in that movie, I will say.
What do you mean?
He was out there with Mark was playing Vince Papale in the movie.
Sure.
And,
there was no double?
There was a double. Yes, there was a double. But I'm just going to give a shout out there to Mark. I saw him take a few good hits.
He was in the concussion protocol for the morning shoot one day or something like that.
Yeah, never made sense since that movie. I can't understand the guy.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.